damn house, lock the door, do your homework, you have your snacks, and that's it.
There it is. Wisdom partially served
Oh my
on you
God,
as
we're
you went live.
Wow. Yeah, can't do that no more.
No,
Thanks.
it was good.
Thanks,
I wanted you here. I wanted you to hear as much as possible of King David. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We're going to have an incredible show. It's a special day for Fonz. It's a special day for me. It's a special day for everyone because you are here. So thank you so much for joining. Shout out to 127 people already here. Smash the like button. We have some sauce. We have some sauce with incredible guests. I see you all in chat. Hoggy already making it rain. Before we do it, Asa, how are you? Looking confused?
I'm confused. There's been a lot going on. If anyone's not aware, yesterday was Fonz's birthday.
Echo.
Today is the end. What, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Big
God.
time.
I'm going to stop talking and I'll fix that.
All right. Asa is a cavern. As Asa fixes things, we'll let him do his introductions again. We're joined by someone who's had his birthday yesterday. Fonzerelli, thank you so much, brother, for joining.
It's great to be here. Didn't get much sleep last night, but you know what? I'm here for the show because hey, it's our birthdays, man. Why? Come on, man. This is going to be great. And I was shocked. I did not know I was going to be on the show with King.
Yeah.
I showed up. King is sitting here, and I'm like, wow. Okay, great. It's going to be an awesome show. Every time I'm on with King, it's always a good show. Always.
Absolutely, man. And that's why I had to surprise you. I don't want to tell you who's on
Love
next and be like, what?
I was wrapped.
Extra dynamic special sauce, especially with King David from the Iron Lords gracing us with his presence, who has a packed deadline, like timeline off
Today's crazy.
Has still made it for me today. All of us today.
You
Bonds
actually
especially.
slid in my DMs, pause, and you actually, Asa, this was really a stick up. Like this, stick him up. He's like, you want to be on tomorrow? And before I could say no, before I could text no, it's my birthday. And Fonz. So he know damn well I'm not gonna say no to Fonz, right? If it was a hint of no for the sauce, it was no. I could not say no to Fonz.
You have to be tactical. You have to be tactical,
yes.
bro. Like,
You cornered me. You did the two-prong approach, pause like Microsoft. He Series X and Series S me. Oh my God. So I came in here gift wrapped all the way through. So I'm already ready to get on the show. And I'm texting him, where's the link, bro? Oh my God, I forgot. I restarted. Asa, I restarted my computer 3 times thinking was something wrong with my Google email. And I'm like, damn, my Gmail, something's up. I said, let me check the space. Let me delete a whole bunch of stuff. Then I look at his text. My bad, bro. I always forget. Sorry.
My bad. I am terrible with that. Sorry. I had a busy day. I was getting a massage. Oh yeah, happy endings and all. No. It's a legit massage.
Everything's legit till the end.
I'm feeling so loose right now. Like all that tension.
So was it the big guy with the strong wrist, or was it?
Yeah. What was his name?
The lady with the big cap.
Listen. It was a birthday present from my friend Ben. Shout out to him. And
Ben gave you the massage. All right.
And, well, it was a bit weird because it was like, yo, I got us a massage. Like sick. It was like, but we're in the same room. I'm like,
no.
Yeah.
That's a hard no. I've seen enough.
The hard, definitely not hard. But it was let's do it. And as I'm coming in, there's this.
So you had a menage a trois.
Stunning looking woman, and then this butch giant of a man. And I was like, please, it's my
Who got
birthday.
the guy?
Bro, the guy doesn't really. I got the guy, and the guy destroyed me. Yeah, bro. I was like,
pause. You said the guy destroyed you.
Wait, let me clarify that.
Somebody clip that and put that up right now. The guy destroyed him. Oh my god!
Oh,
you heard happy ending and all. You heard that, guys.
Yes. Yo, how is it your birthday and you get the guy?
I'm too nice, bro. I'm too nice. I was like, no, bro, he sorted out all this stuff. I was so grateful as it is. I didn't want to be like a diva and say, yo, I get to pick the shit,
no.
you know? Mm-mm. So, yeah. But it is what it is. Oh, man. Shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for the super chats that have been coming in. It's really nice. Yes, finally, it's my birthday. You guys can just shut up about it, but thank you so much. Now you know the day of my birthday. You don't need to say it next week or the week after that.
I can't forget it because yours is the day after mine. That is awesome. And it was so crazy because I've been giving you a hard time about birthdays and stuff. And you're like, you'll know when it's my birthday. And then I told you it was my birthday and you were shocked. You were like, oh my gosh, mine's tomorrow.
Yeah, I had to tell you.
I didn't believe you at first. I was like, wait a minute.
No, it is. And for everyone who want to make an excuse that you forgot, the same day today is Jamaica's Independence Day. I know
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Jamaican
blessed
Jim.
and strong Jamaica. Yeah, shout out to all of you.
Can't do that no more.
I heard about it.
Yeah, I've been reprimanded.
You've been reprimanded from saying blessed and strong? Why?
Jamaican Jim.
I've been reprimanded from Jamaican Jim.
Oh, go on. Why?
It is what it is.
Well,
but no one said I can't do Delroy, his cousin.
Oh shoot! Oh well.
Yeah.
I hope you can let your hair down, but I was referring to the beard. But you can let your beard down for this one because we're gonna get saucy. And what a perfect week to get King and Fonz on, both of gents who have been quite outspoken about this as well. Big topics, but before I do, I just want to check with my homie Asa. Are you back with us? No, you're not. He's shaking
I am.
his head.
I'm still going to be echoing because I don't know how to turn this freaking second wireless mic off. Am I not?
You're not
echoing.
Thank goodness. Yes, I'm here then. Welcome everyone that's come to check out the show. We've got loads to talk about. We've got all these birthdays to celebrate. That's my intro. I'm not echoing anymore. Yeah, carry on.
Thank you. Thank you all. Seriously, thank you all for the lovely messages. And I'll read all of them out in a bit. But let's just get into it because I was sorry we were late. It was my bad. Big news. Controversial news. For ages, some of the members of this panel told you about the fear, the trepidation of one company in light of gigantic moves that would surely common sense dictates cause them to be quaking in their boots. And you finally got it this week. Confirmation, express undeniable truth about some of the things we were espousing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about PlayStation. I'm talking about Activision-Blizzard. I'm talking about Microsoft. If you watched our gaming segment news bit, you would have known that, as part of whatever due diligence is involved in Brazil, you have these procedures when, big companies have to put forward some representations or comments. And in light of some, matters of significant business relevance, like Microsoft's $70 billion acquisition of Activision-Blizzard. So regulators there, their governing bodies, invite comments, and we finally got a glimpse into what PlayStation truly thinks, and they did not hold back. Sony made it very clear that it has and this is conservative in my opinion, distaste towards this deal, concerns about the deal, and the wording so strong it single-handedly fucked PlayStation guys in the sorry, that was not, I messed that up. Apologies.
It's not how that button works.
I put the reverb instead of the sensor. They falafeled Sony. They are falafeled. They are scared. That messed me up so bad. They messed up. Sony scared. And they basically destroyed the narrative. A lot of people who were downplaying it, who were saying, Call of Duty is not the force it is, which is crazy. Saying Game Passes. And just before this whole thing, I was working on a source video where these guys were going, PlayStation Plus better. Bad timing, because Sony said things that were quite surprising. People still contested. First of all, they say Call of Duty is a force you cannot replicate. No matter even these big AAA publishers like Take-Two or whatever, Epic Games, you just can't recreate Call of Duty. And their own numbers suggest to how big an important force it is driving their sales. They classify it as its own gaming category. Beast! That's boss. Like, if we said that before the show, like, this is a force, it's its own gaming category, you'd have laughed us off. Like, these fanboys, they're just making it up. But this is something Sony has said, really, potentially, possibly overextending themselves and explaining this. You will talk about that with our guests. And just want to set the scene finally as part of this thing. They also talked about how powerful, how potent Game Pass is, saying that this service that commands 60 to 70% of the sub-market is something that even with substantial investment, it would take several years for a competitor to arise. These are words from Sony. Obviously, with the source, I'm going to weaponize that and bam! But it is what it is. Are they telling you the truth? Are we just fanboying? I want to discuss this. With... Come on, it has to be. First of all, we have to go hard in the paint. That's why, King David, your opinion on this one matters. You're sipping on something.
Sangria.
Sangria. It's celebration. That's a celebratory drink. What's your take on it? You have said before, you have said something quite controversial, thinking that this is the last PlayStation console.
I was wrong on that. I was wrong on that.
Oh, okay.
I was wrong. Mark certainly reached out to me, and he said, because I'm such an advocate for the PlayStation brand, I'm not under any NDAs. He sent me the new PlayStation 6 prototype, and here it goes, guys. All you gotta do is just take it, plug it inside your TCL, and boom, now you're playing with power. And it even has a slot for your memory cards, the fast SSDs, right there. There you go.
For people listening on Spotify and Google, what King David is holding in front of the camera is a USB stick. So there it is.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to YouTube. Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah,
we pay a lot for these cameras. Let's go.
Yeah, we did. So thank you so much. If you are listening on Spotify, I hope you don't feel left out. But do check out the YouTube version to see.
I hope you got FOMO, and I hope you go to YouTube, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you like and share, and I hope you watch, because we spend a lot. Look at Fonz's background. Are you crazy? Do you know how much we spend for this camera, this lighting, this statue in the back? You think I'm doing this for fun? I could be an avatar and give you nothing, but I'm giving you everything. You better get to YouTube now.
Yeah, exactly. Just wait till I actually get into a studio again.
Well, Fonz, King David kept it quick there. Just
I didn't even get into I was just doing a little light banter for them. That's the sangria, actually. No, I told you guys they was afraid. They were terrified, absolutely terrified, because they got firsthand to see the metrics behind MLB The Show. They can see. They can go behind the curtain. This is not a guess. This is not anything other than, here's our first party studio giving you a game. And I don't care how it got there. I don't care if it was reluctantly. I don't care if it was forced. But they still have privy to the information and the numbers behind that no one else has right now. Except for myself, what I know is 35 million. And these guys, to make that statement that it would take several years for a competitor to arise when you just launched your new system service. You combine one into the other and launch the new service, and you said out of your own verbiage, out of your own words, it will take years for a competitor to arise. That means you have already admitted defeat, right? And what you have to look at is the actual numbers. See, people see numbers and PlayStation has over 43 million subscribers to the PlayStation Now format or the PlayStation Plus format. How many of those are dead accounts? Right? How many of those are active accounts? You don't know that stuff unless you're behind the glass. So Sony could say something before they got a chance to get behind the glass, and they got behind the glass right now. So in knowing what you see before the actual juggernaut walks into the damn room, which is Call of Duty, which we all knew what effect it will have. It will have with the casual, right? Game Pass is a casual vehicle. The Series S is a casual vehicle. What do you need for these vehicles to actually move? You need the gas. The gas is these games. Oh. So you put pure, unleaded, high-octane Call of Duty inside a Series S, running at 60 frames per second at 1080p. I don't care what you're saying. At a price point of $200 come this Black Friday. You're literally launching a salvo that these guys may not recover from. You're not talking about the reverberations from everything else in the catalog. I'm talking about one specific game that they said is in its own category. Let me tell you this. This lets you know how demoralizing it is to them that they just acquired Bungie, a first-party studio, right? A first-person shooter studio that makes great story-driven narrative games, right? These games are because it's story-driven. Destiny has a great story. I'm sorry if you don't
read it in the books.
Yeah, well, but also
I swear to God, you made fun of me for saying I'm not reading no books for Halo.
Yeah, I'm not. But part two, they took it out of reading the grimoires, and they actually gave you a story. They actually worked on whatever their deficiencies were. Right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But it's a multiplayer game that gives you really good numbers, but they don't have confidence in that studio that they just spend $3 billion on.
It's a desperation move. I've always said that.
Yeah, but literally, you just married the hot girl, and then you turn around and said, "There's no girl going to be hotter than that girl over there." But you just got married, and you said that girl over there though that they're about to marry is the bee's knees. So even though Microsoft said it still will be available on their platform, and why would you take it off? Here, if you want to pay $70, go ahead. Do it. But if you want Game Pass, you can have that over here. And I'm going to tell you this, being that the tools have matured on the Series X and the Series S side, it's going to play better here. Yeah. Right? So a lot of that first-party extra sauce they're going to give you, extra skins, Xbox-only stuff, this stuff will be available here. And you will have the marketing rights is gone right after this is done. I would be terrified if I'm Sony. Wow. And those words ring very true because everybody thought I was joking about the mortality in there being a PlayStation 6. There will not be a PlayStation 6. And from their own words, they're telling you that this is a death nail. I mean, I can tell you right in the face of Spider-Man 2 launching. I can tell you right in the face of God of War launching because you guys are not enough. And he's told you that you haven't been enough. Right? So the casual market hasn't grown to that space. You are the 10 million. You 10 million dudes aren't enough to win the war. That's exactly what he's saying. Phil said it before. 3 billion, right?
Absolutely. So someone said you're delusional, but in chat, but actually,
thank you. I'm so happy that I'm delusional, but I want you to prove me wrong. Give me some metrics, because if Sony is saying this, then they are delusional too. And for you to even write it down, you are just like Sony, and you are even more delusional. So sit down, relax, and let the real people that understand what's happening talk to you about it.
Blaze says Sony is God. Comes in Blaze 4K in the chat. Just in time to make a comment. They're getting messy. But you know what? Listen to what King David is saying, because like he says, Sony is saying it. So if Sony is delusional, then King David's delusional. Ultimately, the mass market is the market that speaks for this, and you've got some remarkable numbers that you love. The numbers, right? There's the numbers, the metrics that you go for, and the goalposts keep changing. The numbers keep changing. Your goalpost was the numbers of the last bastion, but perhaps that's gone. I will go into it. I will talk about a lot of what King David has said it, but I want to get your take on it, Fonz. Fonz, you're a pony.
Really? Well, let me just start off by saying this.
Listen to this. Day 216. What King David had just said is nothing but facts.
Oh, damn.
I'm telling you, except for I disagree with him on the PlayStation 6. I think there will be a PlayStation 6. However, I don't think that he's reaching too far when he says things like that, because again, you've got to take a look at what Sony has been saying. And they have, in fact, said that you console gamers buying our games aren't enough. He's been saying that. I mean, this is why you see the migration over to PC. This is why you see them going into these services. And just talking about that just a bit with the services, Game Pass, if anything, has shown that there is a huge market for it, that gamers are willing to go that route to consume their games. Just like with any other form of media, you know, this digital consumption and this, I mean, speaking on that alone, digitally, they said that their games are being bought up almost 80% digital now at Sony. So that's a narrative that got destroyed when all you heard was Sony guys buy forever physical.
Shiz.
Remember hashtag forever physical? Yeah, no. I've been saying this for years, and we knew this years ago. 3 years ago, they were already putting out a thing saying that 75% of all gamers are digital now. And that was 3 years ago. And I've been saying that to people, and they don't want to listen, especially, unfortunately, a lot of Sony guys out there, because, again, that whole forever physical. I get it. But you are of a dying breed.
Really so silly to celebrate when you've got UK box sales.
But I just want to make, yeah, exactly. But I want to make the point that the consumers have already decided with Game Pass that they're willing to go that route with services. Sony themselves see that. They're speaking on that being, you know, something that is scary to them. Let's be honest. The fact that they can't compete with a service like Game Pass for quite some time. It's going to take years. And the other thing I want to say, and it's going to destroy another narrative, is that a lot of people out there are touting that, you know, these services were bad, that this is not good for the industry, Game Pass sucks. Yet these same guys are out there pushing the premium service, saying it's better than Game Pass. What is it? Is it a bad thing, or do you guys really like it? Because at the end of the day, it seems like when you're pushing these numbers and stuff, and you're pushing the fact that you're buying into it yourself, you just totally contradicted yourself, number one. But number two is you, like I, like the services. And, you know, welcome aboard. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. No, I will get back into that. There's a lot to unpack here, but before we do, let me read these super chats. Hoggy, thank you so much for being a member for 14 months, man. And you're honestly the best. You don't need to do that. King David and Fonz on Go Live. Happy real birthday, Gaz. And hey, Asa. Thank you so much, Hoggy. It's a pleasure. And Hoggy actually just being so generous. I wake up, he's like, have you checked your email? I'm like, no, I'm just getting a massage, so just give me a second. No, actually, forget the noises I made. Then he sends me a game code is in my email. It's so generous, and I'm like, thank you, man. You don't need to do that. Flame, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, man. He goes, guys, we'll still meme on you, but happy birthday, please, Flame. Stop it, Flame. I'm a dead man. Cold with a 25. Cole, you didn't need to do that, but thank you so much. Because super chat all for the birthday. No, please don't. Just any super chats is fine. Thank you so much, though. Love you, Fonz. And Gazi says, love you too, brother. Thank you so much. Huggy with a $2 super chat goes, happy birthday, Fonz. It actually is his birthday. Why am I laughing? It was yesterday, but happy birthday, Fonz. Look, Leo's keep it real. Leo's. That's right. We got the fire of the lion in our hearts. You can see it. There's so much synergy between me and Fonz. Why? Because that's why. And it's Jamaican birthday, so I got the rhythm, yeah? King David says yes. Are you originally Jamaican? Where are you from originally?
Who, me?
Yeah.
West Indies.
West Indies?
St. Croix. St. Croix.
Oh, yeah. So shout out to you. Thank you. Sorry, I lost the super chat. Shabs as well. Thank you so much for £20 super chat, man. Thanks, really generous. All of you, everyone. Thank you. Happy birthday, Gaz and Fonz. Let's make it rain. Don't have to. You don't have to, but thank you again. Ja. Thank you for the £20 super chat. Jat was with me in my birthday party yesterday. Thank you. Shout out to him. Shout out to my boy Gaz. He says, DM me for some laser tangs. That is code. So you could probably figure that out. If you do, we go to jail. No, we don't. Face 23, Brooklyn, New York. Oh, of course, with a $20 super chat, always the same amount and always the same angle. He says, Fonz, if there was no Game Pass, would you stop gaming since the gaming industry is going forward with $70 games since you proclaim yourself a cheapskate? I think that was Paris Lily, but not you.
No, that was me. That was me too.
Fine.
Yeah. I proclaim myself a cheap bastard when it comes to things like that. And, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I've said it before time and time again. When the whole industry goes as way as $70, I have no choice. I have zero choice. Right now, I have a choice, and it's called Game Pass. And I will have another choice in the future. When Sony's games do indeed come day and date into their service, I will have that as well. And the other choice I have currently is that I just wait for a sale. It's that simple. There's all kinds of fantastic games coming out at $70, but I can wait.
Face, that's a pretty definitive answer there. Do you have any counters? Don't have to super chat, just tell us. But also,
and of course I wouldn't quit gaming if Game Pass wasn't around. Love gaming too much.
We'll take the hit. We're all addicts here of gaming. By the way, Shabs, thank you so much for gifting 2 memberships. I just figured out that you, and I think Isla mentioned this before, you need to be able to opt in to accept those gifts. I don't know how you do it. It's there somewhere on your YouTube. Figure it out. But please do try and accept that. But yeah, RWK88, thank you for the $2 super chat. It goes, happy birthday, Asa. Can't leave you out. Happy birthday, Asa.
Don't sing it when it's not a real one, guys. Sing yourself the thing. I'm not singing for you.
And Krobo with a happy birthday, Asa. Keep coming, man. Deadly Headley.
Well, you know what? I got to say something. Why is it so bad for somebody to want to save money on their games and not want to spend an extra $10 on their games?
Thank you.
And I'm not pointing at somebody else telling them, hey, you shouldn't buy that. You do you, but
well, you did. You told, at the end of the day, you told Solid Rev not to buy
$150. Now, that is kind of dumb to put out there. But anyways, that's besides the point. I'm just saying, when we're talking about $70 gaming, one question. Are you actually getting $10 more with your gaming? Are you getting $10 more with these games?
No, you're not. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're not getting more games for your buck.
But you get the $70 game, but it's really an $80 game because you have to pay the PlayStation 5 tax. If you want to use the DualSense and the 3D audio, that's 10 more bucks.
That's next gen when it comes to Sony, right?
Yeah.
The DualSense control, the feeling of the DualSense control. And the 3D audio. I'm sorry, that's not next gen to me. That's the stuff I turn off. I don't play with that stuff. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
$10
you're right though. You don't see the money doesn't translate to the content. Nope. Stop capping for it. Like, why would you invite that?
That's not true, guys, because they got The Last of Us remaster. Like, come on, man. Oh, the remake. Come on, man. It's definitely worth
the remaster.
It's a remake. Let's not call it a remaster. It's a remake.
You know what?
But
Call it what you will. It sucks. All right, for the price.
the pricing sucks. The pricing sucks.
Yeah.
Also, question the utility of it. But hardcore fans, if you do think it's worth it, that's fine. But do understand that it's silly to propagate that kind of price or more. Generally, in terms of economy, in terms of where we are, where the hell we're probably heading into another recession.
We are in a recession.
We are. It's not been announced, really.
I can say this. For the 10% of you fools that feel like that $70 is making a dent, have you ever purchased something and somebody told you that's not enough money? Whatever you do is not enough. Every time you go to the store and you put down your $70 and you're so happy that you support it, and they looked at you and said, you are not enough. And they will continue to say that to you because they can verbalize it to you and you still take the abuse. So again, if Fonz wants to save any money on anything, that's his prerogative. If you want to go and spend $70, Sony still says you're not enough. So it doesn't matter if you save or if you spend full price. And what I would say is, if you feel that $70 is good, buy the games and put them in the chat and gift them to other people. So that way they can share in the $70 fund too, because I want to share in the $70 fund too.
Oh yeah, if you guys are willing to buy me Callisto Protocol and God of War, hey, have at it.
Put it
Go
in.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm willing to play the games.
Wait. Yeah, you've said this before. You're not actually buying God of War for 70 quid, are you?
No, I'm going to wait for a sale. Or,
God of War, bro.
I've had some friends tell me, I'm going to buy it for you because I'm not going to let you pass that up. And I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. But, hey.
I'll do it.
I'm unwilling to pay $70 for a game. That's just me. I don't see the value in it. I look at the games and I'm like, look, most of these $70 games, you can play its PS4 counterpart for $60. Why the hell am I playing the same experience for $70? Like, why would I pay that when I see across the way on my PlayStation 4 Pro, I could play it for $60? I don't know. I don't get it.
I understand there's a rapid defense for that, but it's I've seen
the whole thing about developers and everything needing more money because things cost more. Again, financial reports there are out there. They make tons and tons of money. They don't need an extra $10, and it's not going to the developers anyway. It's going to the publishers. Whatever.
Exactly. Get that argument out of their head. That was so silly. Deadly Headley, thank you so much for wishing a happy birthday and saying let's get saucy, you so sexy censored. You know what that means. Hoggy with the $20 super taker. Sony themselves are worried about Xbox. Are the ponies not paying attention? Sony's telling the regulators the ABK deal will cause players to choose Xbox over PlayStation because studios can't compare. Take that, Bungie.
The same way they took Spider-Man away from the other competitors, and they couldn't play a Spider-Man game anymore.
I know. This is the irony of that coming from Sony.
It's so dumb.
It's like funny.
Sony, you are making the point right now where you're going after third-party deals and making games exclusive to your platform. Final Fantasy right now, is basically exclusive to PlayStation as we know it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to. Okay. Before I read the super chat, I'm mindful that Yudani also wishes happy birthday, Asa. Talk to us about this deal, bro. You've been sitting there silently. We're saying Sony's dead. Let's add some Asa balance. I'm sure you're here to on our parade as we're having a good time. You'll be like, well, actually, guys, so do it. Do it. Tell everyone why we were wrong.
Now I feel bad about it. No, you're all definitely having a good time. I don't want to interrupt you too much, but the only thing that I'll say is all the stuff that Sony have just said wasn't a PR statement. It was real, and it was what they were saying to a regulator that's in their best interest. So everything that they're saying there, if you look at it from Sony's point of view, arguing for what works out best for them, does anyone think that Microsoft buying Activision-Blizzard is good for Sony? Of course it isn't. They're acting as a business, saying things that are in their best interest. And most of the things that they said, there's one that's quite contentious, and that's the whole quality of game things I'm sure we'll get onto later. I don't want to bring that up because that's a big thing.
Sauce.
But the rest of it is pretty hard to argue with. Like, is Call of Duty its own thing that's pretty entrenched and hard to replace? I tell you what, you could take all of the talented people that make a Call of Duty game, you could make them leave Activision-Blizzard and say, make a better Call of Duty game with robots, and they could call it something like Robot Fall, and it wouldn't sell anything like Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is the behemoth that Sony are saying that it is. Nobody can displace it, and it's not a question of talent, because Respawn are better, and Respawn can't beat God. It's happened. We've seen it over the last 10 or 15 years.
Ooh,
so it's truth, and it's angled in Sony's best interest. So
Facts.
Right.
Where did you hear that before? This is the first time I've heard that. You're right. Like, Robot Fall happened already. And Respawn are way more talented. More talented. Titanfall, you know what? Maybe my Let's Play video on Titanfall. One of the most criminally, just not even overlooked or whatever. Just, I don't know what it is. But why? Well, I know what it is. Bloody EA left it to die. But... absolutely. And Sony said the same thing, didn't they? They literally said, if you get someone with the financial might to do this, they just simply can't replicate it.
Yeah, and it's obviously, like, I would say, excluding the most recent entries, Battlefield has always been better than Call of Duty as well. Like, it's never been... It's never been this game that is head and shoulders above everything else. It is just so entrenched that making a better game is not enough. So... they're not lying in that one for me.
2042 was their chance to get that, though, I think. 2042 was the chance to kind of almost...
Every prior release was their chance to get that. It's just Call of Duty is... Yeah. The thing that has beaten it over the last couple of years is Fortnite. So that's where the cracks come into the armor. Like, it is beatable if you don't try and go against it so directly, as we've seen from Epic. But still, what Sony are saying there does have some merit to it.
Of course it does. I mean look, I've heard one person try to defend it and say, oh, they're just laying it on thick because, you know, and I'm like, yeah, why? Continue. But they never really finish it. They're laying it on thick to try to stop the deal. But why? Because it's important to Sony. Why is it important? Because it hurts their bottom line. It hurts their wallet.
Chunk. It's 60% of their bottom line. It's a huge
facts. Whenever you take an IP and you make it synonymous with a certain platform, of course, people are going to migrate to that platform. You know, a lot of people did that with Destiny and PlayStation 4. Yeah, even though it was on the Xbox, a lot of people thought, hey, that game is exclusive to PlayStation 4. Yeah. And the other people that knew it wasn't exclusive knew, hey, they're getting special content over there that we're not. And come on, you got to be out of your mind if you don't see that happening with COD and Microsoft.
Well, I can say this. Sony knows the importance of Call of Duty because when the 360 had the marketing deal, they wrestled first place from North America away from them. And when they got the marketing deals back for the PlayStation 4, what happened? The reversal. Automatically, a single game franchise tipped the scales. I mean, and also other things that went along with it. But this is one serious bullet to have in your chamber. This is a can't miss bullet. This is a bullet with a name on it. So the fact that, one, it doesn't matter if it's on your platform, they still won't get the marketing rights.
Yeah.
Two, it's on the competitor's platform. Well, they see Microsoft as a competitor. Microsoft doesn't see them as a competitor, but it's on a competitor's platform, whereas the buy-in rate is not $70. The buy-in rate is $15 to get in to play this. So
and they said that again. They made that reference.
That's huge because they know they said, this is the language. Hold on, this is the language. This is the reason. All right, somebody brought up to me, well, why don't Sony just put MLB The Show inside PlayStation's service? There's language in the contract that forbids it. It's language in the contract that forbids them from putting their own game in their own service. How serious is Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer? How serious is it that he said, okay, you own that car. we'll park it in our driveway and we get to drive it too. You can't park it in your driveway. So everybody think that car
How'd
belongs
you come
to
up
Phil.
with these analogies, man? That's a perfect analogy.
See, what y'all don't understand is behind everything is perception. Perception forms everyone's reality. If the perception is Call of Duty is here for cheaper, runs better, and you get to play stuff first.
Yep. Well, it's probably, maybe, yeah.
You lost.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it's real easy. It comes down to, and I've said this for years as well. You're combating $15 gaming. You're basically, essentially playing all these games in a service versus $70.
Yeah,
like a lot of people, you don't understand, especially in with today's inflation, the recession.
Yeah.
People are going to question, do I really want to spend $70 on my games? Sorry, I think they're already doing it. This is just my perspective from what I've been seeing with 26% of the software sales being down for Sony right now. I think a lot of people are questioning that. I really do. Look at The Last of Us. It only sold 10 million. That's insane considering the fact that it was both on the PlayStation 4 and the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, it's insane. So
we've had downplaying of it for ages and how disruptive Xbox Game Pass is, because that's the word to use. I think it's very disruptive to the market. And Sony's confirmed that. And they say, so what, King David, you mentioned about the lowest cost of entry being the primary reason how audiences or consumers will decide where to go when purchase and dictate their spending habits. Sony says they agree that subscription services with games purchased for a one-time fee, those services could be anti-compete because people will go based on based on price.
Well, they know
Price is
that based
everything.
on price
And
because
then,
the PlayStation 4 is $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
And based on price, people made certain decisions.
Yeah,
but I can say this. I can say this, right? And it's multi-layered.
Yeah.
When you're able to, and if anybody has Game Pass right now, and if everybody remembers Game Pass in the beginning when they released the cloud beta, and a lot of those games weren't cloud enabled, like you weren't able. I love that wine, Asa. You weren't able to play a lot of the games in the cloud. It was like probably 30% of games were cloud enabled with touch, and probably 10% had touch features, right, for touch screens. Now you have either 85% of the games, excuse me, being released inside Game Pass is cloud enabled, and at least 60% of those games have touch features. That means you don't have to be home to jump in with your boys playing Call of Duty. You don't have to reach your console. You pull out your phone and you're in the mix with them.
It's the future.
This level of portability, this barrier that was there in front of you is being removed. It's just giving you more for less without you doing anything, without you saying a word. And for anyone who has a new 2022 Samsung television, I implore you to go sit down in front of your television with your Xbox controller and hit that Game Pass app and play your games via the cloud. They didn't put any extra money on your television. They didn't tell you anything extra. It was just there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You fighting a juggernaut with the money that say F you money, because this is different kind of money. This is I'm going to destroy you money.
This is the sheer scale or the financial might of Microsoft is something else, and the sheer scale of this isn't. Microsoft as a company has never spent this much money. That if that's not you money, then what the hell constitutes you money?
Nuts.
What is that? Who's going to beat that? Who's going to spend that much money? That is really well said there about just the statement of intent by the sheer money involved. But yeah, let's talk about that in a bit. Isla, thank you so much for the super checkers. Happy birthday, Gas. Many saucy returns. happy yester birthday for Fonz, who's getting more birthday beats. I already got it at the massage today. That sounds wrong. Oh, just
Buddy, you just keep digging yourself this hole.
Digging a hole for myself today. Doc CMF, thank you, B, for a member for 17 months. Are you sporting the blue badge? Shit. The guy who started this, well, carried this happy birthday stuff. Thank you so much. You're such a milestone indeed. It really is Gaz's birthday. Happy birthday, Gaz. Thank you, Dog CMF, man. Deadly Headley again with the £4.49 super chat. He goes, I haven't had a PS since PS2, and I own a Series X. PlayStation Plus makes me want to get a PlayStation 5. PS Plus needs work, but I have plenty to play. Absolutely. If you missed this PS3 and PS4 gen, Xbox Game Pass helped make that happen, in my opinion. Wow, okay.
Yeah,
that's an interesting way to see that. Yeah. Dog CMF again with a $10 super chat. Happy birthday, Fonz. Thank you for the super chat to say that, even though this is a Fonz channel. Join us tomorrow. Well, join Fonz tomorrow. Red Wolf, thank you for the $2 super chat. Go send a little gift on Xbox. Happy birthday, bruv. Thank you so much, Red, man. Appreciate it, bro. Dog CMF again with a $20 super chat. Goes, happy birthday, Gas, for the real this time. Yes, that's it, Dog. You can't. You had a good run. You trolled me for half a year, which incidentally put a lot of super chats in there. I guess part of me is like, that's nice, but the other part of me is like, let it please die now. Lucius Augustus, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sony talked about how Game Pass has 70% market share, but refused to compete with Game Pass for years until it was too late. Well, I think it's a little bit harsh. Sony just doesn't have the capital to do what Xbox is doing. It's just out of its scope.
That's not true. Asa knows for a fact that first they were there at the market before Game Pass was. Plus, they were first in the services department. It wasn't cultivated to that extent. That's all that was. It wasn't the fact that they weren't there. They were there. They just didn't cultivate it to that extent. But Asa knows more about the PlayStation Plus and the PlayStation services as far as how they were the leader in that marketplace for a long time.
The thing that is still weird to me about the way that Sony led those services or backed off of leading those services is the fact that when they, in their opening like 1 or 2 years of PlayStation Now, they had the strategy that Microsoft have, and they were pushing it like, we want this service to be available on all of your screens wherever you are. We want it on your mobile phones. We want it on your TVs. We want it on your PCs. And then after about a year of that, they went, it's a bit hard work. I don't know if we do want it anymore. And they pulled it back and said it's just on PlayStation and on PC now.
No,
and
you know what I think
decision that was to be like, I can see the future. It's a bit of hard work. I can't really be asked.
It was on my XBR. Remember, that app was on my XBR.
I think the reason being, though, is because it came down to capital. I think it came down to all the money that they would have to spend to actually get there. And that's what Microsoft knew going in. They said they looked at what, was going on, and they seen the market with other media, these digital services were the way to go. The way Xbox chose to go about it, though, and go the route of the Netflix of gaming, they had the capital to back all that up. And they're still pouring money into this. Whereas Sony, that's why they're saying they can't compete, because they cannot. They cannot compete on a financial level. There's just no way.
There's no chance. There's no chance there. But that doesn't mean it's all gloom and doom for PlayStation, though, because ultimately, despite all of that, the quality mark still rests with PlayStation so far. That's generation.
Not true. I'm going to stop that narrative right now, because Gran Turismo and Horizon Forbidden West, the two last games that they did release, has a dip in quality, has a dip in philosophy. And I said it before that Game Pass is forcing hands. I guess, Gran Turismo could have took a little bit more time to cook, right? And the strategy in releasing the game with the level of microtransactions or the level of purchasing of cars and stuff like that and things, it could have been toned back a bit. It didn't have to look as desperate as it did, right? Because it came off as desperate
Mm-hmm.
sell a car, the same exact car that's inside the previous game at 4 to 5 times the price, comes off as a bit desperate. Comes off as I need to have money now for some weird reason. And then Horizon, a title that you grew into its second game and had a lot of anticipation behind it. There was just so many bugs for a first-party game from a Sony product. We're talking about Sony standards here, right?
Yeah.
They very rarely have game-breaking bugs that have people just say, you know what, I'll come back when they fix it. This game actually had a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, so we're not going to say that they quality stands true. What I'm going to say is I'm on some Janet Jackson-ish. What have you done for me lately? And lately, you've been effing up, B. So I can't trust your words until you prove, right? And I know they're gonna say, but King, they gave you The Last of Us 2. Yeah, that was under a whole different regime, buddy boy. And that game was being completed after a whole different regime. So yeah, Jim came there after the fact. But this stuff right now.
What about God of War? What about God of War? This year, God of War releases, King. That's gonna create some sauce.
This ain't coming out this year. I already told you it's coming out next year. I don't care if it's pre-orders available right now. There's a plenty of games that had pre-orders available, up until a month right before it came out, it slipped out. And let me give you another synergy. I'm gonna tell you guys to watch this, and you guys are gonna be like, King, I hate you. Don't hate me, just love me.
No, can never hate you.
Spider-Man and God of War both launched in 2018 together.
Yeah.
They're not going to miss the same year together. They want to bookend it. They want to have in the beginning of this is how you control a narrative, right? Microsoft next year is going to be launching a ton of unproven IPs. Sony is going to be releasing 2 IPs that are proven. How do you control the narrative and try to steal it away from Microsoft? By replicating 2018 all over again. God of War, Spider-Man, bookend it. That way you control it. And then whatever game you drop in the middle of the year controls it. This is how you keep the mindscape on your side. Because if you have God of War there and Spider-Man, it works. It works.
It's only a matter of months, though. It's like November. Like that's a bookend still. It's just
no. You want the Game Awards to be yours. Elden Ring smashes it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
You know what? That's what I meant to say. Actually, you're right. God of War coming out this year was a bit bold because I always thought it's a win for the game of the year.
Look at it from a marketing standpoint.
And remember, with the cutoff too, you're going to have that game, or at least give these voters for the gaming awards that game early, before the 10th or before the November, whenever it drops, not 9th. They're going to need it weeks before then to complete it.
Even if they do it, they still lose. They've lost that.
And why would you do that to your game?
I'm not going to say that because look, God of War, the first one was amazing. It was a game of the year. And I think that this one, yes, it's more of the same, but look, if it has an amazing narrative, if it has an amazing narrative and it has amazing,
it has all the ending, all the amazing, it's going to not make the same impact.
But I could see it dethroning it at the Keeleys, and we know why.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because also, like what Asa says, if their memory's very short-sighted, then because it's quite close to the.
So I still say Elden Ring wins it, but God of War is the only thing that has a chance.
And they want to delay it.
God of War will still be inside that last fiscal period and still meet the board of directors mandate for having a game of that quality out in that quarter. They don't fear Starfield as much as people think. It's an unproven commodity.
It's brand new IP.
All right, so that new IP has to hit in a level. I'm pretty confident in throwing Mike Tyson in there with a new guy. I'm pretty confident in doing that.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson at this age, I'm pretty confident. Because you know what? I know what Mike can do. Mike can get up on you and put some work on you. God of War gonna put some work in.
Yeah.
And and if you walk in the store and you see Starfield, you see God of War. I don't know too much about that guy right there, but this dude, I gotta go. And you out the door, God of War.
I love you, King, man. You made
I'm just saying. There's no fear. Excuse me. There's no fear. That's my COVID. There's no fear.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that.
So what? Everybody got it. It's like the flu.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, cut it out. I got my shots. I'm good. I just get a little cough here and there. It's just an unproven entity going up against a proven entity. And when I say there's not doom and gloom. There's strategy involved here.
Yeah.
And real strategy. And when I say it's going to slip, it's for strategy's sake. If God of War loses Game of the Year to Elden Ring, it diminishes it in the eyes of a lot of people.
I think so.
Don't
I think people
let
are
them get
expecting
to the
though.
ring.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, and I cannot. I will echo your sentiments. There's no way on earth I'm going to commit to any game, even with a date and pre-order releasing in the time they've said they had. If you are still really faithful and have confidence in these companies, they themselves, I think, are pretty much coming in hot. They're playing it down to the wire here, so like that's what it seems like, and. So many games, man. So many games have been delayed. I actually, at this point, applaud a publisher for giving a date. So far off. When I say far off, I go more than 3 months. But yeah, shout out. Let me speed through these super chats. Have been very generous. Red Wolf, thank you for the $2 super chat. Sent a little gift on Xbox. Happy birthday, bro. What? Didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much, Shabs. Red Wolf,
don't worry, he sent you god awful. So
he sent you another massage.
Oh man! Oh, what is?
Oh my goodness!
I need to. Dragon's Dogma he sent me. Oh, thank you so much, man. That's so sweet of you, man.
That's a dope game.
Seriously. Yeah, man. Thank you. I don't even have that, so
enjoy it in its 30 frames glory.
Can't you do it unlocked on the Series X? The remake?
No,
remaster or something like that.
I don't think you can. I think it's 30.
Oh man,
people were complaining about it.
That sucks.
Shabs inevitable with a 6-month membership. Thank you. He's gifted 2 more. I think he did this before, but he's done it again. I don't know. Cole Eastwood member for 4 months, bro. He says studio employees are paid a salary. The extra $10 per unit doesn't go directly. It goes directly to the publisher. Sorry, it doesn't go to the developer. Royalty payments are contingent on hitting sales milestones. That's actually very true. I think you sealed that with CDPR as well. I think they offered a bonus based on certain thresholds, or they just had a wholesale bonus package. I don't remember now. But yeah, absolutely. The extra $10 doesn't go to the developers. Do you care about the developers? This is the angle I've seen. I'm like, really? You care to show me how the developers are benefiting from this? They just shot. Yeah. Okay. Eric Kurtz for the win. Pregnant, birthing a child, possibly as she super chats. She goes, "Hey, happy real birthday, guys. Sauce. Good podcast, everyone. Yes, you too, Asa. Yes, you too." Look at Lucius Augustus. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Because Nintendo hasn't had a serious COD entry since the Wii, and one bullshit entry on the Wii U. Meanwhile, the Switch is dominating. You don't need COD to win, he says. What?
All you have to do is remove yourself from the fight and give a handheld console with a bunch of cataract-inducing games in yourself.
That's literally the equivalent of walking out the ring there. I have to agree.
They said, "I'm not fighting those guys. I'm done. Those guys is killers, and they're playing in the sandbox, minding their business over here, while the real boys duke it out." Nobody's talking about those dudes. Why would you bring them up?
Shout out to the 470 people watching, by the way. Thank you so much.
Go play Mario Tennis. Get out of here.
That game was fun back in the day.
It was. It's fun now.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not in the same universe.
Yeah, but you need these to play it.
Why?
Especially if you're our age.
I call them resolution boosters.
Oh yeah.
You're doing it wrong. If you want to play on Switch, you definitely want to take those things off. Like, you don't want to see the screen clearly.
You don't want to see what's happening. Right?
That's That's part of the appeal of the Switch. Mondatric with an incredible profile. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Fortunately, we have a host for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity and don't want console warring. He's called Acer. Happy birthday, Gaz. Shout out to you, Mondatric. Slendiferous, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Goes, best friend Acer, King Fonz, and Gaz. Big up, brother. Love the stars you got on the panel today. Love the content. Behave yourself on Twitter, guys. No,
you know, the last guy,
on Twitter.
The last guy was wrong because it's not console warring when you're speaking facts.
Yeah.
Ooh, source. Facts.
They call it console war when you just don't agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Yeah.
They call you delusional when you tell them facts. Like, I've seen consoles die. I a Turbo Graphics inside button.
And a Dreamcast.
Rest in peace, Sega.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Why would you do that? Drawn TJ, thank you for the $2 super chat. Goes, hi guys, Sony is screwed. No, Drawn, it's not, or maybe depends. Mike, thank you so much for the $10 Canadian, because we all know $10 is not a big deal to these ponies because they don't buy games to begin with. Sauce. So much sauce. Sorry, I had to get my face.
Even the auto-tune doesn't help.
I was just dying to press. I was dying to press that button. By the way, I can never get. I literally listen to music and I'm just me singing to the auto-tune to the song. And for anyone listening outside, the windows open and people will just be like, "This is a psychopath," and he's going, "Ah!"
Hey, Gaz, you know I got a button to sound just like you.
Go on.
Hey, I'm Gaz.
You, bro.
Oh my God.
Dude, a little bit deeper than that, okay? So look, that's it. Oh shit! I go hard in the.
Oh my God!
All right, let me stop. That never gets boring. So that's it. That's Sony. Position is clear. It might be an indication, Asa, though, that do you expect Sony to really? Is this an early sign of what their future action is going to be? Are they really going to ramp up any kind of defense, or is this the most we'll see? A little glimpse into their feelings. Will they actually mobilize and contest this more?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? 1v1 me on COD and we'll settle this.
Oh boy!
Shots fired.
I was like, what did I say? That was so wrong. Oh, yeah.
No, I do actually have no idea what you were asking then.
Will they be contesting this anymore? Sony, about the deal and all that.
Yeah. So people, by the way, for people who don't know or not on Twitter, someone asked like, "Oh, if you get me, you guys would never get me on a panel because you guys would get destroyed," and they ended up getting destroyed, and ended up being a 1v1 me at COD, bro. As if apparently we're not real gamers. Just because we have all the shit going on in our lives and play a multitude of games, it's good to know that you'll be the most avid purchaser of Xbox's first party games. Well done. There's no bigger Xbox fan than you when it comes to spending
I haven't heard 1v1 me
in
in COD since like I was 15, 16. Like I don't even know. Like,
ridiculous.
Bro, I couldn't believe this. When in fairness, Colt put me under this. Gaz will destroy all of you. I'm like, just because I was good in Modern Warfare 2, Colt, I haven't played, like, I'm mostly on PC as well. So it's just like, I was getting like, you're not the arbiter deciding who a real gamer is. Get the out of here. We need people who can actually have a conversation. Doesn't matter if you're on the opposing side. We had BG here, Broken Games from Weapon Wheel Podcast.
That was a good show.
He's a Sony guy. Yeah,
that was a good show.
And we questioned back and forth, massive disagreements here and there.
BG has a good head on his shoulders. I like listening to BG, even though I don't agree with him on a lot. He does bring a lot of good points. He
does.
Yeah, I like the guy. Yeah.
We love like PlayStation guys who can hold their own in a conversation. You're always dying to bring people like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get these loudmouths sometimes, and they go on podcasts. I've heard these guys go on podcasts.
Yeah,
and they just, you know, they embarrass themselves, embarrass the host, and it's just, it's not necessary.
Well, I had a guy curse me out and just said Miles and Alloy, and I'm like,
Alloy, one of the most boring characters ever made.
I was going to say, that's what I was trying to. I was a bit confused about, but what
Miles is great.
What I had to explain to him was, I own those. Like, your points are
facts. I do too.
Listen,
unfortunately,
I'm just saying. And people like to brand me as I am only game on Xbox. No, I've had PlayStations before. A ton of people. Yeah. And if I wanted to actually have one in every room, I can go get them right now. I'm not you guys. I will go and spend the $800, $900 to go get whatever the hell I want, because the price tag is not going to prohibit me from actually enjoying what I want to indulge. And I know you're going to say, well, you complain about $70 games. I was paying $250 back in the days for Neo Geo cartridges. What I'm protesting is you trying to push the market forward into a place that doesn't need to go there, because they still do ways to subsidize prices, right? Absolutely. So that's what I'm talking about. See, you're looking at the fight as me being cheap, as me fighting for everyone else. Financially, I can live in that realm. I can do that game. But why? Does it benefit anyone else? No, because there's other cost-effective ways for doing it. And I believe the PlayStation premium service is a great cost-effective way. It's $120 for the year. Get it. That's a fantastic thing. You're able to partake. What I don't like is if your competitor is doing something and you want to put something in the arena, you want to compete, then you do date and date. You do not tell them that our products is far superior than any product that's in the market, and you must pay this. If I'm part of your ecosystem, why is it a VIP room that I don't have access to if I brought into your premium service? It's like having a wristband and you get to the park and you can't get on that ride. Boy, I paid for the wristband. Why can't I get on this ride? Yep. Well, you have to pay an extra $70.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make any sense. So again, don't dip your toe in the water. Go full bore, and it's not going to take away from your sales. If they put their games day and date, they will grow the platform. They will retain way more people than they think they would lose. And those games that they think that they won't sell will sell more. I've purchased more in Game Pass than I have purchased in my life in games, to be honest with you, because I partake in these games. And I do say, oh man, I like this game. And I see games leave, so I want to buy it. All right. So because I'm getting ready to run right now. I just want to let people know we're not fighting against the price tag. We're fighting against one company forcing the price tag forward when they don't have to. And then if they offer a service, at least send the savings off into your service, and you will see that service grow in numbers by leaps and bounds. Trust me, Xbox had to bite the bullet, and they did it, and it was successful. I think PlayStation can do the same thing. They're reluctant to do it because their fan base is telling them, nah, we want to pay $70. We think $70 is cool. Don't put it in their date and date, because you're going to degrade the quality of the games. Who are you to say that? Let them say that and let it happen first before you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mindless to go ahead and do that.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Shout out to Danny Snowick for a long-time supporter with a €5 super chat. He goes, hey guys, happy birthday. Love to you, Fonz, King, Asa, and chat. Shout out to you, Danny. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much.
Well, and I want to say happy birthday to everybody. I got to get ready to run. My daughter's getting ready to get out and go to school, so I got to run upstairs and say bye.
Yeah.
Do the daddy thing. Yeah. So, happy birthday, guys.
Appreciate you're off now. You're off.
Fonz. Oh, okay. Happy birthday. I know I'm joking. But Asa, 97% right, 96. And I just had a great time with you guys. So much fun. I couldn't tell you no, guys. I couldn't tell you no, Fonz.
I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right. And anybody that want to see a great interview, go check out Beyond the Sticks with Asa. It was fantastic. It was a great interview. Go check it out. Asa did his thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's check that.
All right.
Let's check that out. Shout out to you. Love you, later, man. King. Mad love. Thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate it. Boom! There's
King's
three of us.
awesome.
Now we are to What happened there? What the fuck happened there? Okay, that was bad. I'm not gonna do that again. Shit. Rocket Corey, thank you for the $5 super chat. The real competition isn't even Sony. Microsoft's strategy is much larger and bigger. Real battle is with the likes of Tencent. Sony isn't even in the same league. Rocket Boy with an excellently timed super chat because boom, that's the next topic. Tencent is seeking to become single largest shareholder of Ubisoft. I made a source video, source videos incoming, a news video about Tencent, what it's doing in the gaming space. You may not know about this giant behemoth that is causing dank memes. If dank memes were not dank memes, sorry, I'm just trying to multitask and talking. So yeah, Tencent is buying.
Let's sod that. We'll get to it in a minute. First, I just want to know one really quick thing on the Call of Duty Activision-Blizzard games topic. We didn't go into the quality thing, which I think we should get back to later because there's quite a lot on that. But I don't want to talk about that now. That's a big thing. I want to talk about a little thing. So Sony is saying that Call of Duty might sway people's console decisions. My question for both of you is, if the shoes were on the other foot or whatever, and Activision-Blizzard was going to Sony or Nintendo or, I don't know, some console that you haven't got, are there any Activision Blizzard games that would pull you to a different console? If Call of Duty was only on the Ouya or whatever it was called, and you don't own one of those, you don't own one. Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, any of those games, would they pull you to a different platform? Fonz, you can go first.
For me, I'll be totally honest. As much as I even love to play Diablo, no. I wouldn't be swayed to go to a completely different platform. I own a PlayStation, so that's not a big deal. I own a Switch, so I could play those games there. But if I didn't, I wouldn't go out and buy one just for a Activision Blizzard game. But again, I don't make up, the market that they target. COD is just beloved by so many casuals out there. I mean, that's not me. I've never been a huge fan of COD. Even back in the day, I would play the campaigns, but I hated playing the multiplayer because there was always a bunch of just sweats in there, just destroying me. So I couldn't keep up. I'll be honest. I played a lot of Battlefield back in the day, and Ghost Recon, but COD, nah.
Okay. Yeah. Gaz, and everyone in chat as well. Like, you can chime in on this. So hypothetical, Activision Blizzard are suddenly bought by Google instead of Microsoft. Would any of you subscribe to Stadia to play Activision Blizzard games? Gaz, would you?
If that's the only thing, or if it's I can't download locally streaming, but if you take that point out of the way, imagine it can do it like locally, right? Is that your question?
Streaming as well. If Google Stadia bought
streaming, I can't take streaming seriously for PvP games, so I wouldn't go to Google. But if there was like an equivalent to another console, I would definitely move. Like, also a lot of people that I've talked to, like casuals, will try and move. I have told to me like, oh, do I need to buy an Xbox now? Because it's not just the fact that you have to buy COD, it's also the message that sends that like holy crap, this is the home of. That's what the metaverse is, isn't it? It's a push to make your digital environment another space to dominate people's mindset. So it's like Xbox is this metaverse. It's a home of. The brand association is there. COD is a force. World of Warcraft is a force. You got Diablo. Yep. You got the PC crowd. It's a force. Like all at this point, it's a no-brainer. There's something. It's so good. Like people we talk about in Brazil, they can't. The currency conversion and the economy, multitude of different things. They're all a lot of the Brazilian crowd is subscribed to Game Pass because it's common sense. Why on earth would you buy? It makes no sense unless you desperately want to wait for PlayStation exclusives. I would say most Brazilians, unless you're very wealthy as well and money isn't an issue, then it's an Xbox that you'd get. Absolutely, you would get. So yeah, I just think it's a huge deal, and it's going to be very interesting to see how Microsoft markets this as well, because ultimately this also, despite the fact that they have pretty easy job with marketing COD on Game Pass, it's very easy. You just need to say COD Game Pass, boom, save yourself this much money.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, I got to cut you off, guys. Face 23 BKNY. He said since MLB The Show went into Game Pass that the quality has gone down.
What difference? But this is Sony making it.
Oh my God! Like seriously, what is he talking about? Has the quality gone down? No.
But he says the Metascore's got the quality. I don't think the fact that it's on subscription services is going to be an indication of the quality going down. You know, Forza went on subscription services and its quality arguably went up. So you're going to see the big one is going to be the Starfield thing, because if that goes in and hits and it's a 90+ meta and it does what it needs to, that's a big slap in the face of the argument about Game Pass. Hellblade 2 does that. Big slap in the face. Not Grounded, sorry. Avowed. Big slap in the face. All these games. Fable. Big slap in the face. These are all games that challenge that narrative. So if they do successful, I mean, they've already had successes, but it only takes that one more. Starfield hitting that, the quality argument goes down the toilet. That Xbox's Game Pass is diluting quality, because then you're conflating and assuming that Xbox suddenly has Sony's budget when it comes to developing first-party Xbox games. But Xbox isn't stuck to that. It has a big like bank to supplement all these games, especially now, because it has to show that. It has to go out of its way to prove to everyone that just because it's a Game Pass absolutely does not mean a dilution in quality of games.
Yeah, you know what? I'd have to question what happened to Gran Turismo 7. It didn't go into a service.
Well said. Yeah, absolutely well said.
What happened?
That didn't go to. What happened to Gran Turismo?
Face and the rest of the guys aren't talking about that. That quality went to shit.
Absolutely.
Excuse
what
me.
about Returnal being a $70 price? Like, how does that help? Like, in terms of breadth, a great game in my opinion, but still, you know, you're seeing this dilution of quality is nonsense, and that I think we've kind of gone into that, Asa. Yeah. They've gone in, like, this is to me such a BS argument. Like, for one, that the quality of games will suffer. I'll read they think that this could harm consumers. They're trying to desperately angle the harming of consumers, despite being quite really. They make an argument that everyone's going to go to Game Pass because the quality is unmatched. No one can mobilize. Everyone decides on price. But then they were like, oh, but it's also harmful for gamers because potentially the quality might suffer. Now, they need to come. What metric are they relying on when making that statement? Because I think that will get battered away in any FTC, I don't know, hearing, when you got representation from Xbox saying, show us that. Let us show you, like Fon said, Gran Turismo 7, and tell us about how your fully priced games with your egregious microtransactions really did well to sell the game. A game which, in my opinion, I will say, despite not playing it yet, got an easy ride as far as reviews are concerned, because the microtransactions came out after the fact, like a day after the fact. We don't make enough noise about that, in my opinion, because if Forza did that, which it did years ago, it got murked. Why is GT not getting murked? So yeah, there's a point there. Sorry. Asa, what's your point on this? You said it's quite important. What's the point about this harming consumers?
This will be fun, because someone said that everybody always agrees on this podcast and you need some PlayStation people to disagree. I wouldn't consider myself a PlayStation person, but I wouldn't dismiss what Sony are saying entirely either. And I don't think you dismissed what Sony are saying entirely either, because you spoke there about Game Pass not diminishing the quality of games because Microsoft have got the bank to supplement it, which isn't what Sony were coming out and saying. They're saying that for people to compete, if the market moves into subscription services, then it might hurt the quality of games. And the conversation there, I mean, you have to look at it logically and look at the numbers, because the business is driven by money. And when you talk about quality of games, quality is obviously subjective. We throw Gran Turismo 7 away for the moment, because that's, I agree, that's not a good game. Take like God of War Ragnarok as more of an example, right? But if you talk about quality, you can't put any kind of measure on quality, really. Like, you can look at Metacritic and stuff like that, but you can't really put a measure on quality, but you can put a measure on budget. And what Sony is saying is that essentially, if they moved everything to a subscription service, they probably couldn't have as big a budget for their first party games. And long term, I don't think that's true. But short term, if you follow the money, if you have a look at being generous, you say Xbox Game Pass is $180 a year. Just assume that everyone is on Game Pass Ultimate. Nobody's sharing. Nobody's using $1 trials. Nobody's doing anything like that. Xbox Game Pass at its most expensive, people are paying for 3 games.
Yeah.
But you're paying disproportionately more than 3 times that. You're playing a lot of games. Like, I've played 20 odd Game Pass games this year. So if you're looking at budget that Sony would then have to spread across their games in the short term, in the immediate term, the current players. And this is, it's a shame that King David isn't here, because King David's favorite phrase is Sony saying, "You are not enough for us." Sony's current audience that could potentially subscribe to their service is not enough to offset that. It's not enough to offset that. So in the short term, Sony would lose the ability to budget their games as highly as they are at the moment. In the long term, and this is Microsoft's whole strategy, in the long term, those numbers will scale up and up and up and up to a point that it compensates for it. And you've got, okay, everyone's only paying for 3 games, but now you've got 50, 100 million people paying for 3 games, not 10 million or whatever Sony have got. But it's going to take a while for Sony to get to that point. So, and you can't sit there. Sony can make a fair point. You can't assume that subscription services are going to dominate in that way. People are assuming it, and it may well do, but Microsoft is still facing some challenges to get it to that point. We've not got there yet, despite Game Pass being. You can argue in a second, and I will take it, because I like arguments. Like, we're here for discussion. But by the numbers, short term, Sony have a point. And I think long term they don't. I think long term subscription services will bring in enough money to offset that. But that is a gamble. It's not a given. So,
can I counter that with, why should we coddle Sony? Because of
I'm not coddling Sony. I'm not coddling Sony. I'm looking at the numbers and the money.
We can't mobilize fast
and seeing if there is any merit in what they're saying.
Be merciful. But are we not like giving them a little mercy thing? Like, let's give you the benefit of the doubt because you didn't mobilize, or maybe because it's smaller enterprise, maybe you should be more charitable to it.
My job to be charitable, but it is the FTC's job to say if someone's pouring a load of money in to knock out competition that can't afford to keep up. That is where the whole anti-consumer argument comes in, which isn't from me. But that is the whole point of regulators. But Fonz, you had something that you wanted to chip in. So
I was going to say that, the only thing that I would argue to your point about, subscription services being a huge gamble. I agree. There's a gamble there, for sure. But as long as you're bringing quality titles into those services, I don't think you should have an issue with selling that service to people. I think consumers are ready for Game Pass. They've been ready. I myself love it, and I know I'm not the only person out there. So there's millions of other gamers, different types of gamers. There's people that don't like these services, but I think there's fewer of those than do. I really do. I think that as long as you keep the quality up, which I think is the problem with Sony right now and their premium service, and I think for them, it does take a lot of capital for them to actually implement all those great titles, especially putting their games day and date. That is kind of rough for them right now, and I totally understand that.
But
eventually
time.
I could see that. Yeah.
They need to buy time. That's what they need. That's what they're saying. And so you're right. They're buying time because in the short term it's hard. But they have to mobilize. They're changing their business. Sony's trying to adjust.
The question of the coddling, though, Asa, I will say, though, that part of me is I'm kind of worried for Sony in the fact that not that they're going away or anything, but the mindset there at Sony. I hope it doesn't change completely where you hear them say, people aren't enough. I mean, Jim is saying that their console, buyers aren't enough, and they're moving stuff to PC, and that's great. I'm all about letting others play wherever they want to play. But when it comes to their games, their particular style of making games, their single players, one and dones, as people like to call them, the games that I love those type of games for them. I hope they don't start making less of those in favor of more live service games.
Yeah.
just for that money chase, because again, those types of games, live service games put into a service like Game Pass are winners. That's a win-win for money if it's a good game,
Yeah.
So
no, I do think that they are aware that their main
their
identity is tied to those single player games,
Yeah.
and when they do wean off in the short term again, as a result of trying to make sure they future-proof their business in light of all this change, they may be focusing on live service games as a result. In the short term, you may see some kind of hit on the single player games, but there's no reason why the added, hopefully, gain from some of these successes will supplement the development of these single player games.
But they're definitely going to need those live service games.
They will. They will.
In a service like that to mitigate some of those losses that they would take with those big exclusive single player games
100%.
being placed. So,
yeah, definitely. 100%. We were talking about Tencent becoming the largest shareholder of Ubisoft. Now, I just want to quickly touch back on this. Would you be worried? What's your take on Fonz? I mean, surely, everyone's quite mistrusting of
Tencent.
Tencent. Are you not worried?
It's because a lot of the developers that they take over, they tend to start creating things for the mobile market, or you don't hear from again. I don't know what their end goal is, especially if there's a possibility that they can do some sort of financial takeover of Ubisoft, like you were talking about in your video.
Yeah.
Where they want to buy out stock into that company and essentially be the owners in some way, and that's scary to me because I don't know what they would do with a company like that, and none of us really do, because again they're one of the biggest. They are the biggest gaming entity out there, and most of their stuff though is in the mobile space, and It's not even a console space we're talking here. So what would they do with a Ubisoft? That's my question. I have no idea.
There may be a concern, Asa, that because Tencent focused so much on online gaming and
Live
mobile
service,
gaming, live service gaming, that might then seep into the design philosophy of Ubisoft, who, let's be honest, has kind of milked formulaic versions of certain types of games that it does well with, Assassin's Creed and whatnot, and Far Cry. Would this be a reason for concern? I mean, it's only it'll be a 15% shareholding, but still make it the largest single shareholder.
That, for me, is not a concern driven by Tencent. That's a concern driven by the market. So Tencent, generally, there are concerns around Tencent with their whole links to government and things they've done in the past, all the rest of it. I understand that entirely, and I understand people's skepticism that they're generally unknown. But in terms of the drive towards mobile and money, that's not a Tencent concern, that's an industry concern. And Activision-Blizzard's financial results for the last quarter had mobile revenue outstripping console and PC combined. There are 60% of their money comes from mobile, from the likes of Diablo, Immortal, Candy Crush, all of these microtransaction things. So that, yes, it's a concern. No, it's not just a concern because of Tencent, because every one of these corporations is going to be looking at the money and wanting a piece of it.
Yeah. By the way, Hargeet's in the waiting room. We have Hargeet ready to join us. Sorry, I was messaging you on WhatsApp.
One thing I want to say to that, Asa, is though that looking at Tencent, say, of course Ubisoft has that mobile market and they're making tons of cash there, but Tencent, it would probably laser focus in on that. And I'm thinking, what would they do with their IP that is not involved in that live service based gaming? That's what my concern is I think they fundamentally would they cut the fat, so to speak? You know what I'm saying? Would they just cut off all those types of games that weren't in that live service space? Yeah. So
it's something to watch out for, because I think they've been relatively hands off there.
Because you're right, it's not just Tencent. EA's done things like this with companies.
Yeah.
They've acquired companies and cut the fat. So
that's the concern there. The future of it. Right now, they're being quite quiet, and a lot of people don't know about that, but let's see. Let's see. This week, as I move on to
the majestic
Hargy.
beard. Love it.
How you doing, brother?
All right. How's it going, guys?
Good to have you on here. Thank you for jumping in, man.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Gaz. Happy birthday, Fonz.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for coming in for the birthday gift, man. That was so sweet of you, man. Didn't need to do that.
Thank you, bro.
man. Thank you, bro. Talk to us about Tencent becoming the single largest shareholder of Ubisoft. Are you concerned, or is it just early days?
Yes, and I don't know that it'll actually go through. We'll see, right? So there are potential headaches here, right? So I think Tencent is already in a legal tussle with the FTC here because of their stakes in certain companies, and they were gaming companies, and I don't think they're very happy with what's been happening. So we'll see. And they're trying to get some of the stock from the owner and some of it from the general shares that are out there, right? I just don't see what the owner's incentive would be to sell, right? They own 15% right now. Yves Guillaume, I think is right, and I don't know what would he get by doing that, right? Is there a reason he would do that? And you'd say money, right? But like he owns Ubisoft. Right. So he's already a billionaire. It doesn't really matter. Right. So how much, like at some point it's really, do I want to give up the control of my own thing? Or at that point, would I rather have a steward that would take it on and do right by what I've created? Right. And like they've been trying to fight off any, buyout of their company. Tencent being Tencent, the headache with that is just the Chinese government. Normally, I'd say this is great. There's a big company that's interested in gaming, expanding gaming, right? They're investing just like Microsoft. Fair enough, but it's that meddling, and right. And as a steward, Microsoft is a better steward. Whether people seem to like Microsoft or not, they're a better steward of gaming than Tencent could be, or the Chinese government. I'm much more afraid of them meddling and saying, well, you can't have this kind of content because it's anti our government. And it's like, well, no, they can do whatever they want. That like a gamer should make whatever they want to, like a game developer should make whatever they want to make, right? And when you have a big studio like that with Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon and all the Clancy stuff,
Tom Clancy stuff with the governmental stuff.
I don't want that interference. I want them to make the game they want to make, right? So it's a little concerning. If they're going to be the majority shareholder, they really do get influence. That's just the way it is right now. That's Yves Guillaume. I don't know if I would like that changing. But I mean, we'll see how all this goes. So I'm concerned about that. Just to roll back a little bit to the stuff on the quality. One of the things that I would like to say is, okay, let's say Sony has pushed this idea of high quality games that take $1 bazillion to make. Look, if the market says I don't want it, then that's that. Okay.
Great point.
Like up to a point, you have to say, all right, either the market is going to bear that and say, I will pay $150 to buy The Last of Us remake. Right. Or they say, no, bro, I'm not buying that. Right.
Yeah.
And if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Right.
They'll chase the money. Yeah.
It's whatever the consumer wants. That's what we do. We don't dictate terms from up, above and say, this is what you will get. It's whatever the consumer wants to buy. Right.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
if the consumer is saying, okay, about 3 to 5 million will buy this, that's your budget. Right.
Absolutely.
The thing that Microsoft does is says, hey, cool, I can throw that in Game Pass. Maybe I'll gain another couple of million. Right, by engagement, and I can then give more budget to them by saying I can take other games and move that around, right? So I'm really just paying my employees, right? But if I make enough to cover my employees and the cost to make games altogether, I don't care whether, this game that, cost, 20% more than it got back, as long as I get engagement, I'm good, right?
That's the
another
new
model.
metric.
That's another model, right? But I mean, Sony's in that like, hey, I spent 250 million, I want 400, right? I want that much coming back. And that's fair. That's the old model. And that is a general thing. If they're not going to get that back, that's on them, right? So the market is saying, I don't want that, right? So I just put that out there.
Absolutely. Great points there. Well, absolutely. The market speaks.
Are you speaking like directly towards PlayStation's software not selling as good as it used to?
Yeah, I mean, so like
because my point, my counter to that is again, that $70 price point. Maybe they just don't want to buy it at 100%. That price.
100%, right? It could be that look, if they could say, I don't know, let's say God of War was a 15-hour campaign, right? Yeah. And they say, you know what, that really is about a $50 value to the customer. They're not going to do it at 50. They're going to sell it at 70. We already know that, right? But if they just say, hey, you know what, that's about a $50 value. Let me sell it at that, right? But I'll also make sure that I'm not spending ridiculous amounts of time to make sure every animation is perfect. Does that mean God of War won't be a good enough game? The game itself is about the game mechanics and the story that you're going through, right? So as long as those are there, if every animation isn't 100% perfect, is it okay? Because they could shave off that 50 million and say, well, let's just make that cheaper and maybe I sell for $50. But these are the things, right? We want these perfect games, but that's their mantra. And at some point, it's going to get a pushback, just a reality check.
But I don't want to get into the
money on different things.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the whole $70 argument again. But I have to say that they were making money, a profit, even at the $60 price point.
100%
with these games. And if they're now making a lot less because they're just not selling as much. That's why I really do question whether it is that $70 or not. I really do, because software sales being down 26% is a lot. That's a lot. And then looking at something as big as a flagship title as The Last of Us 2, which got so much media attention, only selling 10 million across 2 generations of consoles, that is insane. It's insane.
Yeah. And that
I
was
don't care what anybody
title,
says.
Right?
Well, JD Gamer with a $5 super chat says, the truth is Sony knows it doesn't affect quality. It's a bullshit argument, according to him. Meant to delay, deflect, and deceive. Not a new tactic from them, obviously. Quite strongly worded there. Pixelbit G with a $2 super chat. Thank you. He says, how does that work if they're reusing assets? Talking about, that wouldn't. I've touched upon that a bit as well. Like the dilution of quality. They're building these engines and games to be delivered in a way, to me, seemingly to kind of counter the rising budgets of games. I'm sure there's still.
I would argue the quality hasn't risen at all for that $10 tax.
I would say that as well. I don't think it has. I don't think that. So I think even with the new God of War, and it's not meant to be a slight on God of War, but Horizon Forbidden West,
that's amazing.
So Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2, all of these are going to be quite strongly derivative of those previous games. It makes complete sense. I also don't agree that. I strongly disagree that it will dilute their quality.
You know where it's going to hit them right? It's really going to hit them in the face when they try to push these games onto PC for $70. That's where it's really going to show that, hey, the market is not willing to spend that. Because I don't think PC gamers are going to spend $70.
No chance. Or nowhere near. Like Asa always says, charge lower, but sell more. You might make your money better, faster that way. But yeah, that's Sony's position. It's a weird one, but it is what it is. Maybe perhaps the way all I know is ultimately they are desperate to shift and change their business model to adapt. They're caught unawares because Microsoft's turnaround to be all in on gaming has been very sudden. They strived a lot during Xbox One gen, but as soon as Satya Nadella came in 2018, boom, that's in a short span of time span. Xbox has done a massive turnaround. That's caught Sony unawares. It really has. And the $70 billion acquisition is a massive atomic bomb as far as this business is concerned. And that statement, that's why Sony is obviously scared.
And I'm surprised that they didn't realize that, right? I think I mentioned this to Colt a while back, is like when Satya comes out and says, I'm all in on gaming, like I've seen this Microsoft pattern, right? If they're all in on something, good luck, right? They will try to win that battle. And the only companies that can compete, like they've said, it's Amazon, Google, Apple, right? It's those kind of companies. Otherwise, good luck, right? Microsoft all in. I'll just drop $70 billion and buy this, and they don't care. Literally 2 quarters. There you go. I made that. I don't care. Here you go. They don't care.
That flexed that hard. There is undeniable Xbox's seriousness in gaming now. If anyone is actually arguing that, you are absolutely blinkered beyond belief. To put like this is as a Microsoft, as a corporation, has never spent that much money. You cannot talk about it. The number is eye-watering. Just completely decimates everything in this space. Nothing comes close. The closest thing I could think of is what Disney bought. What was it? Marvel? What was it? I don't know what it was. Something. Dan Becker, just $2 super chat because Game Pass growth has completely stalled out. Actually, Game Pass growth was going despite the revenue flunking out. I thought Game Pass would actually, the growth would not be stalled, but it would have, the peak would have lessened, and it would have, because of that tiny bit. But then that takes time as well, because for it to grow or stall, it takes a while for the message to disseminate amongst the masses. So the growth is happening with the casuals, but that doesn't mean immediately it will stall. You might see a delayed reaction to this 2022, which by then might be negligible, because the mind share and marketing behind Starfield to wrap up at the end of this year will just be like, boom, that's what the numbers, for the numbers to grow at the moment. You're thinking beyond the, Asa loves this word, core gamer, really there. But let's see. Phase 23, Brooklyn, New York, thank you so much with a $20 super chat. Again, he goes, I would say you guys bringing up Sony streaming services and gaming are feeling the effects of the pandemic correcting itself. Every company software and profits are down, not just Sony. Bro, 10 million for The Last of Us 2.
But 10 million,
Bro, The Last of Us 2 came out last generation, man. That's not a COVID excuse. That's a poor showing. So, but I mean, Sony said it already.
And that's the thing. You can say that. Some people were still at home during that time when that came out. Like, that is part of the whole, boom of gaming.
Actually.
And so The Last of Us 2 was right there. So I don't want to hear that nonsense. There is a reason why this game didn't sell that well, and I'm just saying, I'm speculating that I think it has a lot to do with that $70 price tag on. I just absolutely don't think that's a wise move for Sony, because I see a lot of other people say it in the community. There's a lot of people out there that are saying that I have yet to buy a $70 game.
Yeah, there are people like that. Not me, because I suck. Fire Shadow, thank you for the $5 Australian. Says, been thinking that this since Sony had their unwarranted river of tears this week. If hypocrisy was a currency, PlayStation could afford ABK. Strong words indeed. Is hypocritical there, but I don't see it in a malicious way. It's self-preservation. Ultimately, you have to do that. I don't blame Sony. I understand if you have to be looking hypocritical to the small, segment of hardcore enthusiasts, then they'll take that if it means helping them out in the future.
A lot of people in the chat saying The Last of Us 2 wasn't 70 on the PlayStation 5. It wasn't?
I don't think
it was only
not got a PlayStation 5.
It was. I thought it was, but they let you upgrade the PlayStation 4. You had to jump through. I believe I had to buy the PlayStation 4 version and upgrade it to get it at 60, or else it was 70 on PlayStation 5.
Well, The Last of Us 2.
They've not done a native PS5 version. I think they did a patch to give you the frame rate or whatever. But no, there's not been a $70 version.
Anyway, then my argument there with the $70 game on that is wrong. But and I concede that. But I don't know why it only sold 10 million.
No, but that's the thing, because that's what the market is saying. Like Hargate says, the market is saying your model of The Last of Us 2. Yes, I know it's a bit complicated with the story. Wasn't like there's a lot of negative press as a result. But 10 million is pretty scathing, and you've got Jim Ryan saying it's not enough. We cannot. Basically, has said it. I mean, we keep talking about it, but ultimately, he said PlayStation is not enough. That's why the games are coming to PC. The market is changing their face. Krober, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Because I'm not paying $70. I'll wait for a sale. But since I'm waiting, I will wait till $40 sale, not $60. So Sony miss out on the extra I would have paid before. So he's saying, as far as he's concerned, that's just causing that's a different mentality. He's going to go.
This blows my mind now, Gaz. I mean, it destroys everything for me right now, because I'm thinking about this and I'm like, if The Last of Us 2, with all of its graphics and everything that they pushed and touted, was only $60 on the PlayStation 5. Why in the hell are people buying the same experience we played twice before?
Well, now you understand. That's what we've been saying for ages.
No, but it's even for more than The Last of Us 2 was.
I know.
That's insane.
Bro, this is the thing. Bro, even to make it worse, The Last of Us, the original game had multiplayer. This doesn't have it. To make it worse, The Last of Us 2 still hasn't had its factions released. So I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen any gameplay or anything. They've like, as hard as we go on Halo, I don't think the PlayStation community is going hard on The Last of Us 2. But then again, they only care about single player games, except they don't because the sales don't reflect that shit. I'm confused. I don't know what is going on. PlayStation guys, buy your games. Buy your games, okay?
And De Silva, 10 million is not a bad number for sales, but it is a bad number for sales for Sony in a flagship title. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. 10 million is not amazing. Okay.
Even Colin Moriarty was saying that. On two different
cross-generation, on two different platforms. Cross-gen, I mean, this is crazy. $10 million.
I know Factions 2 is going to be a standalone game. It be morphed into that. But it still doesn't change the fact that what you didn't get with The Last of Us 2 was that. So, and you've waited X number of years for that.
I think Factions will be put into their live service. Their
absolutely will be. It will be.
Will it?
That's what I think.
Do we think? I hope they do.
I think it'll be free to play. I think it'll be free to play.
They'll sell it for $50 on the side, but they'll put it in that.
I think it'll be free to play. I think it'll be a free to play game. I think it'll be a free to play game. It makes complete sense. One of those 10 gas games that actually stands to make a big splash. It's the Factions. It makes complete sense to me. Yeah. There. You want a game as service to hit? That is a surefire hit. I'm playing that day one. Last of Us multiplayer was amazing. Their scope has creeped, and Naughty Dog could come up with incredible multiplayer. So I am excited, by the way, for the what Faction's going to be. I reckon it could be an incredible game. I'm actually very excited to see Sony finally be forced to, but finally flex its muscles in the multiplayer arena. Despite the fact that the fan base used to come at me, or all of us who would say multiplayer is king. That's right, single player. You guys always capped for single player over multiplayer, and I've always said multiplayer is superior, and it's true. You're more. I can talk about this forever, but it's so nice. Another narrative destroyed. Come at me. Square Enix is looking to sell stakes. Potential buyer includes Sony. This is doing the rounds now. Square Enix are readying themselves. Just like I've got massage oil actually kind of pouring down from my skin. It's the same with Square Enix. It's like now it's doing the opposite. It's applying lotion on itself. It goes, come on, people. You want to slither around with me? I'm ready to swim in the sauce. I don't know how to use that analogy in any way that is meaningful. But not only is Square looking to sell stakes, the potential buyers include Sony and Tencent. Wow. Who would you want more, Sony or Tencent? I think the answer is obviously the most hardcore expert. You should not. I don't care how hardcore an expert you should not hope that Tencent wins that, because what they've done in the space, they've just bought and that's it. There's no PlayStation will go all out. I want Square Enix to go to Sony. Question is, will it go? I'm actually it would be stupid for Sony not to go for Square Enix. Future-proof your business in the metaverse. Nail in. So Microsoft has pretty much the Western RPG market covered. Doesn't it make sense, Hoggy, for Square Enix to allow Sony to lock in Square Enix? Surely it's got to be. Can they afford it? Yes, they can.
I mean, they can probably pull, especially if it's just a few studios, right? They can certainly do it. Interestingly enough, there was no mention of Xbox in that or Microsoft in that list. I don't see why they wouldn't be a potential buyer. I mean, between Tencent and them, so Tencent would keep it multi-plat, so that's kind of a good thing. Versus,
that's a good point, actually.
Versus Sony, but. Is Sony going to do a better job with it?
What's the camera on my face? Ace has gone to the toilet.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I'm kind of split on that. What I don't like is that Xbox or Nintendo, I don't remember Nintendo being in the list. Is it? Are you just doing that?
Yeah,
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to be your voice, your face as you talk, because it's like I'm on the main camera now. So I'm just trying. Sorry, go ahead. I'm distracting you.
I see.
Because Ace has gone to the toilet or something.
I got it. Yeah. So I like Nintendo has quite a partnership with Square as well, right? So maybe those studios are not in play. Maybe I don't know. Like, what does Square make? What's their biggest franchise? It's got to be Final Fantasy, right? The other ones are the Disney one there. What the heck? Why can't I remember the name of it? Kingdom Hearts. So it's those, and then they have like all these ones that they make, like Triangle Strategy, Octopath that they're doing with Nintendo, right? Then they have the Dragon Quest series, but I think the biggest one's got to be Final Fantasy. Are they going to sell that off? Right. What's left with Square then? Right. What are they selling? What is what's the purpose of their existence?
I think it would have made more sense, Hoggy, if PlayStation had or Square were acquired by Sony when they had their Western branch as well with this,
which I found very interesting that they wanted to jettison that, and Sony has no interest in those studios that make like really good over-the-shoulder third-person action adventure games that fit right into the mold of what Sony does. Like,
but maybe they have enough of that. Maybe that's what they are, because it went straight from $3 billion on the opposite. So
so it's an interesting move. I don't know what Square is looking to do here. It's very odd that they want to sell off pieces. I guess Final Fantasy is probably the only thing that makes money. I suppose Kingdom Hearts makes money. I don't know, because they were making a KH4, but I don't know.
I thought they were. When I was reading the article, I thought that they were trying to push the idea of having them have companies just heavily invest into certain IP, into certain studios for certain IP, and not necessarily sell off.
Yeah.
But just have them come in and, essentially take a third party company and take some of their IP exclusively to different platforms, which we've already seen them kind of do with Final Fantasy and Sony. I mean, they've already kind of paid for that, but in a way where they're not paying directly for the development of the game, but they're paying to keep those games off of other platforms right now. I think this is more honest, though, because if companies, pay to help develop a game, I get it. Then you by all rights that make that console exclusive. But when you're just paying a company and saying, keep this off of Xbox, that's a lousy way of dealing with things. Like
that jettison just blows my mind even more with that statement, right? Because you can just imagine Xbox is like, hell yeah, we'll fund the next Tomb Raider. They did it before.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they just say that? Okay, cool. Let's make that partnership. We're already using your bloody studio to make our game. Let's pay for the next game
as well. Yeah,
they'd be happy to do that, right? Let's get Tomb Raider. Was it 4? Sure, let's pay for that. It'll be on our system. It'll be Xbox Game Pass.
Yep.
Let's go, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand why that isn't like a thing that they would have done instead of selling. What was it for, like 300 million?
Embracer Group. Yeah, something like
300 million or 500 million.
200 million.
Just
200 something million. Yeah.
Studios for what?
I don't know. It seems like some internal beef there. They're like, look, we're going to focus on Japanese games. Maybe there's a massive clash there. It looks like there is. That's what the telltale signs are. Something that we will probably find out in the future. Actually, all will be revealed with this. Yep. This is the kind of thing, because there's such a bitter divorce between that, kind of almost like completely just partitioned and chucked away this really strong arm of your business. They may have not in the short term performed like they wanted to financially, but One Bad Mother, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Goes, happy birthday, guys. Thank you so much. Hope this money helps you upgrade the lotion you're using. Like, this is the masseuse using this lotion, not me. I feel like it's flammable, though, and the studio's kind of warm. So if I set it on fire, that's one way to go. Yeah, baby father, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Goes, Apple or Google will come along and buy Tencent. What the no, and have any instant hold on tons of IP. I prefer Xbox, but I'd rather Sony get them over Tencent. Apple, Google will buy Tencent. There's no chance of that happening, you baby. No chance. You're basically saying Apple or Google will buy China. It's not going to happen. So there's that. Asa, what's your take on the Square? China. What's your take? I can't do a safe accent of that guy. But what's your take on Square Enix looking to sell stakes and the potential buyer being Sony?
Good. For a long time, I've said that Square Enix needs saving from themselves. I saw their latest, their financial reports. The way that they've handled Western studios has been disastrous, and not just the ones that they sold to Embracer, but you look at the Western games like Outriders as well. I mean, the Tomb Raider games, for them to say that those were unsuccessful is wacky, because they did pretty well critically and commercially. But they've always had this weird thing with their Western studios. The fact that they are focusing on what they consider themselves to be good at is encouraging as Square Enix goes. Like, if you can't do Western games, then do get rid of those studios. Do focus on your Japanese ones. They pump out quite a few games. There's a few that I'm looking forward to this year from them on the Japanese side of things. So hopefully they're taking steps in the right direction to save themselves. And you look at all their talk about NFTs and things, and maybe not so much. Maybe they are still going to shoot themselves in the face. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if Sony want them, that's fine. What I want from Square Enix is the stuff that they make that's good at the moment. They're quite heavily focused on the Nintendo Switch, and that doesn't suit me personally. I'm not a fan of portable gaming. I'd rather those games all came to bigger, better platforms, like for my personal taste. So if Sony were to buy them and say, actually, all of those games you want to put on the Switch, now they're coming to PlayStation, that would actually work out all right for me. I'll take it. Okay.
No, fair enough. I don't mind it as well. I don't mind that at all. I think Sony would be a good fix. It would actually really light a fire up Xbox's arse anyway, and as far as the Japanese games are concerned, because then it's starting to build traction in Japan. This kind of thing would cause it to perhaps be worried or stall it a bit. But yeah, let's see. Final topic of the day. I know we're going over a little bit, but I want to talk about this. Asa, can you lead this topic? Because I know sometimes with the tech stuff, you get a bit disillusioned, even though you are the tech guy. Before I do that, what's up? Thank you so much for the £5 super chat, because the amount of Sony hate from Xbox guys in chat is hilarious. Happy birthday, Gaz, you saucy piece. Yeah, well, there's a lot of hate. I can't control that. Bit unwarranted, in my opinion, but I think Sony, in many ways warranted, many ways unwarranted. You want PlayStation to be in this space. You can't, if you're, trying to proposition a position where Sony isn't here, that will hurt. I will absolutely hate the industry if PlayStation goes by the wayside. Especially if there's no competition to replace it, which that wouldn't make sense. There's always competition to replace it.
There's just certain types of games that they make that nobody else does in the way that they do.
And they force Microsoft, even though Microsoft as a behemoth is a force, it still sometimes seems overshadowed by this tiny competitor there, which is, as far as financial wealth of the parent company is concerned, they're keeping Xbox on their toes. They schooled Xbox rawly last gen, and now it's a more bitter fight. But I think PlayStation might end up getting schooled in many ways, more than one. But
it's not just Xbox, though. Don't just think of Xbox. It's like your EAs, your Ubisofts. Everybody has to deal with that. Even if you're Rockstar making the next GTA, you have to compete with what Sony's putting out, right? It is what it is, right? So everybody, that is at that level pushes everybody else, and that's what you want. And Sony's been pushing. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing, right? So everybody should be competing. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's why competition breeds innovation.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. To that point of that person who wanted to have somebody buy out Tencent, the way that could happen, not buy out Tencent, is the issue that they're running into now, which is where if they have any controlling stake in a company, regulators are saying, we're not happy with that. So they may, just like, was it TikTok, I think, where they were like, hey, one of the American companies like Microsoft, can you buy them? It ended up becoming somebody else, TikTok. Right? But that could happen where they're like, hey, EA, can you take this stake from them, or et cetera, right? So that could I just want to point out that is a potential way that could happen.
Yeah, it's a good way of seeing it.
This is against the government, not Tencent itself, right? So that's the headache there.
That's a good point. That's true. There are ways around that. You may not necessarily have to buy Tencent. You just buy them out by buying the others out first. Finally, Asa, did you see this thing about the Xbox Series S got a boost? A lot of people are reporting on it. as well. Apparently the RAM, this isn't just any like menial upgrade apparently, but you'll tell me I'm wrong. The Series S devs added more memory to improve graphics performance. RAM has been a big concern. Digital Foundry raised that concern. I think you have as well. Like you've been a bit worried about the RAM on the Series S. Maybe? I don't know.
I have no worries about anything. Shut up if you want me to lead the topic. Gee. Yeah, no, it's a fairly simple one. So there's not going to be any dissenting opinions on this, because getting more resource to play with is absolutely good news. There's no downside to it.
I disagree. I hate this. This is unbelievable.
The story is a fairly simple one.
Yeah.
Nobody is adding more memory to the console, as Gaz would put it, because that's impossible. But they have reduced some of the system usage, some of the system resource use. So there's a little bit more memory. They said a few hundred meg, which is actually fairly significant in terms of the bottlenecks that certain devs have said that they're facing with the Series S. So all it means is that if you own an Xbox Series S, you can stick your feet up, let it do its update, and then you've got a slightly more capable console at the end of it, which... Great news for people with a Series S. Great news for developers trying to get their games running on their particularly memory-constrained games. Yeah. And I don't know who wants to say anything about that, because it is just like, it's just good.
So where are they finding this extra memory? Like, where are they taking it from?
From the OS side, they just trimmed a bit on the OS side to say, okay, these things we can make a little bit more efficient, and that frees up some memory on the OS. And so out of the 10 gig pool, they had reserved 2 for the OS. They're saying, hey, we can give a few hundred megs back. So there you can just use that.
Is that really going to be beneficial? Like,
it can
truly
be
beneficial?
Yeah. As in, it's going to be, it's only a few hundred, it's not a few gigs, it's not a gig, it's a few hundreds they're talked about. Maybe 200 megs, will that make it? I don't know. How many megs do you need?
It can.
It can? Okay.
It can.
There's a lot up there. These are quite versatile systems in my layman brain, so I feel like any gain on the Series S is good. I'm also seeing the Xbox Series S and X start to perform seemingly as they should. We saw, I don't know. Hey, so what do you think about Bright Memory Infinite? I saw a Digital Foundry comparison where the PlayStation 5 is being bested quite clearly by the Series X version by about 20-30 frames on the high frame rate mode, and the res is better at the same time. Seems to be doing quite well. What do you mean? And in fact, I actually found it quite surprising, because it's a one-man band, isn't it, developing that game? And they've leveraged the power quite well and scaled it down to the Switch.
Yeah.
Hey, so.
That's the thing that's happening. So yeah, Bright Memory Infinite, I think I wouldn't take it as an absolute benchmark for like how to compare these consoles, because it is a one-man team that has done a good job getting that game working across all of those devices and all those platforms.
Definitely.
He's delivering, as far as I've seen from comparisons, and I've not paid a whole heap of attention to it, but as far as I've seen, delivering the same feature sets across them, broadly speaking, the PlayStation 5 and the Series X. A whole load more on the PC side of things and a whole lot less on the Switch side of things. The Series X is fairly significantly outperforming the PlayStation 5. I think putting Bright Memory Infinite aside for a second, because I really don't think it is the best case example. Typically following like the trends between the consoles, they're pretty much where we always said they would be at the moment. So the Xbox Series X has pulled ahead pretty much according to the hardware that's in it, not magic tools and secret sauce and all the rest of it. Like, the numbers that are there on paper are pretty well reflected in how we're seeing these consoles perform now. I'm sure over the next year there'll be plenty more examples, but that's where I am with them.
I think so too. I think you're right. I think the numbers are starting to normalize a bit more as developers get a bit more custom with the hardware. So you are seeing that. It's pure numbers. Again,
damn it, they need to use those tools, those magical tools. They FSR, all that. They need to start using that.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That is, we still haven't seen the next gen thing happen, right? The RDNA capabilities are not in use yet.
2 years.
Well, we very much Forza 7. We started to see it. With
Forza Motorsport 8, right? With the new one that's coming, you mean?
Yeah.
They're going to start leveraging some of those capabilities. Exactly. That's what we want to see, right? So, RT with 60, running at near 4K. I mean, those things could happen with RDNA.
It's dynamic res, but
yeah, fair enough.
They're taking hits as well. Like aliasing is more prevalent, but that's kind of what we're in line with what we expected this hardware to do. So it's starting to be very interesting. It's been slow, like it's just been this little gen, but it feels like despite the fact that we haven't actually got any proper, truly next gen multi-platform games. Batman, Gotham Knights. I'm sorry, but the more I see that,
it looks terrible.
I don't think it's. It
just looks a lot. Why? It does look terrible. Why have the developers decided to make this as next gen only and forsake the whole market when a game doesn't look all that?
It doesn't even look like this gen. Yeah, I mean,
next gen.
It barely looks last gen, is what I mean.
Yeah. The whole gen thing in terminology is so weird about last gen, current gen, next gen. But yeah,
Two words: Cyberpunk 2077. That's why they can't make it work. That's probably it.
Well, what's about this game that's so?
What was it about Cyberpunk 2077 that made it impossible?
They're saying the scaling would be so bad. I mean, the game
so horrendously on Xbox One and PS4 that they had to take a year to get it. But on next gen consoles, it was great. Right?
Yep.
It was good enough, right? At launch,
it was trying to achieve more, maybe.
I'd argue there because a lot of people were pushing the verticality and everything of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but that didn't really turn out to be that much.
You're not really going into many buildings.
What I saw did not blow me away. I think those games,
but it was
you saw 360 running those kind of games, and they ran much better there. And I'm like, come on. So
they weren't built properly. Yeah, the verticality thing and the dense life and all of that ended up being BS. Visually, it was a heavyweight, but otherwise, and even then on the PC.
When it comes to just next gen gaming, like we keep hearing that terminology, I have yet to see a next gen game. Something that would blow me away. Usually when you go into a new generation, there's always that one game that you're like, oh my god, that looks incredible. I've yet to encounter that. But that's not to say we have not had some great games right at the start of the generation. Honestly,
you had good lookers like Ratchet and stuff looked nice.
If you compare it to last generation, I think this generation we've had the better games, and that's not just coming from Sony or Xbox, not just first party but third party as well. I mean, we've had the better games this generation. Last generation, I was waiting. I was on a PS4 and I was waiting for a big banger. I was playing Resogun and other indie games. It was my Indie Station 4. I loved those indie games, but I was waiting for those big games.
And Bloodborne came save the day because the Ordinary 86
it was actually
rubbish.
The first game that they pumped out was that Insomnia game.
4, and then
Insomnia game.
Shadowfall and
was it Second Son? I think
Second Son. Yeah, and that looked decent, and it was a fun game.
It was decent. I liked it. 6 out of 10. Yeah.
No, I liked it. I would give it. I probably would have gave it an 8 at the time. I liked it a lot. I had fun with it. But I'm just saying, if I compare it to this generation, we've had a lot more better games this generation.
There's a lot of spillover from last gen, though, as well. I feel like tail end of last gen.
Cross-gen. Yeah, of course.
So that's why. But, we will see it.
And that's why we haven't seen the next gen game. A lot of cross-gen BS.
I think Hellblade 2 will be the game for me to really do that kind of whole. That looks like visually this taste fully next gen. That or Forza if it comes out, but car games tend to not have making much impact as something like that. Like Hellblade because Hellblade's running on Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5's tech demo on the Matrix thing, I've said it here before. Yeah. That's the thing that was like, holy shiz, this is running on my Xbox. So obviously performance wasn't the best, but I would take it because look how amazing it looks.
But don't cut out
Uncanny Valley. If I see my family come over, they'll think it was watching a movie. My parents
don't cut out Rockstar either. I mean, with GTA 6.
Oh, Rockstar. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that, especially since Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is still one of the best looking games. I would say on PC, it is the best looking game there is out there. It's just amazing looking.
Yeah. Jadani Kazado, the $5 super chat, goes, this is for the Gazistan foreign aid. Please don't spend on non-halal items, Habibi. I can't promise that. Sauce sometimes can be illegal.
Another massage from that dude.
Oh,
I've said too much. No, but yeah, look, next gen only. We're seeing the updates happening. We're seeing the game space evolving. In terms of like this year, I was talking to a dealer, and it seems like generally there seems to be a bit It's a bit dead, isn't it? Like, it's a bit of a quiet period. Maybe a good chance now to catch up with your backlog. I feel like this is that kind of time until it goes crazy later this year.
It's
I'm still playing as Dust Falls.
As Dust Falls?
It's indie time for me.
Have you started
as Dust Falls twice, man. I've played it twice.
I still got to finish it.
Oh, you started it. I need to play it, but...
It's a picture book. It's a picture book. So
it's a good story, though. Everyone is saying that.
But the story is amazing. It's well acted.
It's very mature. It's very mature story.
Very.
Yeah. Is it? I love that. Games need to do more of that.
Yeah, the subject matter in there, I think, is one of the most mature I've seen in any video game. Period.
Really? Okay, that's high praise right there. That's high praise. I need to play that. There's a lot of those smaller games to play in Game Pass, but I will catch up. I've got a backlog. But yeah, it looks like things are starting to happen. I mean, the consolidation space, things seem to be very twitchy right now. Sony also mobilized with a lot of lawyers they got involved. Either they're mobilizing to contest ABK. I have a feeling there's a strong chance if I was Sony, I would do that. Really, they've made that statement. We've seen it. So they expect ABK to be, like you've said, Hoggy, quite fraught. But let's see. Shout out to over 400 people still in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chats and the birthday wishes. Thank you. And that brings an end to that meme. But it was beautiful and fun whilst it lasted. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hoggy, as well, for the president and all the generous super chat. Everyone that sent generous super chats. And if you haven't super chat, still thank you for coming on and showing your support, especially all to the members as well. Your support keeps the lights on. What the hell is that? What? Thank you, Asa. That's very sweet of you to destroy our beautiful assets with that garish thing, but I love you for it because you didn't care. You said, look, I love Gaz so much. I love Gaz so much. I will show him love in a way that doesn't require me to communicate and open my feelings, even though I love him so much. People can not even comprehend it. Thank you, Asa, for your unparalleled love for me. Yeah. Wow. I love you too, bro.
It was beautiful.
Love you too. Thank you, man. Thank you, everyone.
Like I'm interrupting something. Yeah.
This is a special moment. Can you two leave now? No, but before that, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Shout out to King David earlier. Jeds, thank you so much. Fonz, we get to share our birthdays pretty much the same time.
Every year now we get to share our birthdays. So every year, let's do this on the show.
Absolutely.
Every year. Let's just have a birthday bash.
What a wicked time to spend it with you guys as well. I loved it. Everyone in chat, thank you so much. I see you there. Huggy, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you coming in as well, and also being such a massive supporter for us for ages. And just by being still a member of the team, just helping the community as well. They literally, I see comments like, where are the Elden Ring codes? Are they not dropping now? They're like, you spoiled. What do you they expect it now? Oh, that's hilarious. But thank you so much, Hoggy. What's in store for you?
Yesterday was my sister's birthday. So
happy birthday to her as well.
Same, birthday, and my nephew was born 1 month ago tomorrow, so it's his first month birthday. He's celebrating that tomorrow. So
Leo's in the house.
It's a birthday weekend.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely.
That's what's going on, and I'm trying to finish As Dust Falls. And tonight is, I think J-Rock will be hosting the community game night with Halo. So we'll be playing that. If anybody wants to join,
I'd love to join. It's like such a crazy late time for me. It's like 3 a.m. But
I know.
Shout out to J-Rock.
For UK, it's tough.
Yeah, I'd love to play with J-Rock. He's so funny, man. I love the guy. But yeah, so do check that out. Do check out Fonz's channel. Fonz, GTL back tomorrow.
Yes, GTL.
Have you announced your guest?
5 p.m. Eastern time. I will have Mav from Fun Speculation on.
Oh, nice! I love that.
Hargeet, I've got to get you on the show. One of these days, please come to the show. I think it'd be amazing. You're a great conversationalist. I really like the discussions and the stuff you bring up. You're really intelligent, and I love that. So I'd love to have you on.
Thanks. Yeah, love to get on.
And Asa, got to have you on again because you need to redeem yourself on 5 questions.
I'm still tied for last with Gaz.
is still so bad. But anyways, Kaz did really well. I mean, it was so funny. He got so excited last week. It was fun. Lots of fun. We had a great time. But we're going to have a good time tomorrow again, 5 p.m. Eastern time, Games Talk Live on my channel, Fonz Gaming. You can find it right here on YouTube. Check me out on Twitter, the same handle, Fonz Gaming. Find me there. And it's funny. I do these podcasts and people will go, they'll find my channel and go, I didn't know you had a channel. I didn't know you had a show. And I'm like, really? Okay. I say it all the time, but a lot of people, I guess, don't stay for the end.
I find that surprising, despite how heavily we buck you. Blank Crow, thank you for the 100 NOK, NOK, saying happy birthday, Gaz. Thank you so much. Which currency is that? What country is that? Everyone's asking. I've not seen that before. But yeah. Yeah, shout out to Fonz. Shout out to GTL. Check it out. Unfiltered truth spoken by, and what such a great format with the 5 questions. It's like the Eric Andre
Boba
show.
Fett Gaming brought up your seizure moment. I called it a seizure, but it was something else entirely. And I knew what was going on. I didn't want to say it though. It's a family show. But thank you, Gaz and Asa, for having me. By the way,
thank you for being here on this special day. Again, happy Independence Day to Jamaica. Last but certainly not least, Asa, how are you doing?
Yeah, great. So I also have things. I was on my Twitch channel running around. I played Doom VFR on my treadmill today, and I sweated buckets and got absolutely destroyed by demons. But it's properly funny. So check that stuff out if you want to. I've got like the topics that we were talking about today. I spoke on for about 2 hours on Thursday as well on my YouTube channel. So there's places to come and see me talk a bit more than I do here. And happy birthday, Fonz, and happy birthday, Gaz. You can do your outro.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You'll see we've been ramping up the content at GameOnDaily. I think we need to do more content. That doesn't mean the source videos have stopped. What I'm thinking of doing is actually doing a live premiere of the source every time. If I've got daily news pieces supplementing the YouTube channel and the numbers to grow, then I can do an event of the source videos, which means that I'll go even harder in the production of the source.
You've done
videos.
a great job so far, both of you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. And you might see a special someone on the next source video. So, but thank you so much. Hit the like button. Smash that like button on the way out. If you are listening on Apple and Spotify, thank you. Please do check us out. And if you can, leave a nice review. That's up to you entirely. Be honest. And yeah, we'll see you shortly. And I see you, Ham Solo, in the chat. I might be appearing on his show. It's been a while, Ham, but we made it work. Thank you so much. Please check out GameOnDaily.com. Without a doubt, the most sexiest gaming website.
Subscribe.
Yeah, it's awesome. Take care. Love you all.